Just take a few moments to find your natural rhythm of your breath. Slowly start to scan your body. You can start at your toes and work your way to your crown, or start at your crown and work your way down to your toes, scanning, noticing. Letting go of any tension you might be holding on to. We're going to go into a square breath exercise. So we're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold our breath for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. And then before we inhale again, we're going to let everything remain empty for a count of 4. You can place your hands on your belly or on your ribs if you'd like to just feel how this feels in your body. Find your natural breath and inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. If this feels uncomfortable, you can just come back to your natural breath. But go ahead and inhale again for a count of 4. Hold and exhale. Let it all empty and inhale. Hold, exhale, hold, and return to your natural breath. Lift your arms straight overhead. Stretch out through your fingers, stretch out through your toes, come into a morning stretch. Slowly walk your feet and your hands over towards the right side of your mat, stretching out through your left side body. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And come back to center. Walk your feet over towards the left side of your mat. Hands come over towards the left side of your mat. Stretching out through your right side body. And slowly come back to center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. You can rock side to side if that feels good. Extend both feet up towards the sky. You may point and flex your toes. And come back to stillness. Take your right leg, cross it over your left. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Clasp your hands on your shins or your ankles and pull your ankles down towards your hips. Breathe here. Soften into the stretch in your right hip. Uncross your legs. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Extend both feet up towards the sky. Cross your left leg over your right like you're seated in a chair, crossing your legs. Pull your knees in towards your chest. Clasp your hands on your ankles or your shins. Gently pull your ankles towards your hips. Breathe here. We're here for 3 more slow, deep breaths. And release. Bring your feet down to the mat, knees point up towards the sky. Place your hands by your hips. Slowly lift your hips up on your inhale, squeezing your glutes, and lower your hips down on your exhale. Inhale, lift your hips up. Exhale, lower your hips down. One more time. Inhale, lift your hips up. Exhale, lower your hips down. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Place your hands behind your hamstrings and slowly rock back and forth and make your way up to a seated position. Sit up nice and tall. Take your right hand. Bring your right hand to the base of your neck. Your right elbow is pointing towards the sky. Bring your left hand to your right elbow. Gently pull your right elbow towards the left side. Keeping length in your spine. Stay with me for 2 more slow, deep breaths. And release. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Take your left hand, bring your left hand to the base of your neck. Bring your right hand to touch your left elbow. Pull your left elbow in towards your midline, over towards the right side. Stay nice and tall through the crown. And release everything down. Bring your feet out wide. Come into a wide-legged seated position. Make sure you ground down through your sits bones. Sit up nice and tall. Extend your arms overhead. Inhale, grow tall through your crown. Exhale, lower your hands down in front of you. Bring them to touch the mat or the ground. Bow forward. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Walk your hands back in towards your body and slowly roll all the way up. Close your legs together. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. Place your right foot on the outside edge of your left thigh. Extend your left arm out to the side and hug your left arm over your right leg. Bring your right hand behind you. Gaze over your right shoulder. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. If you find space on your exhale, try to twist a little deeper here. And release, come back to center. Straighten your right leg. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Cross your left foot over towards the outside of your right thigh. Extend your right arm out to the side and wrap it around your left leg. Left hand comes behind you. Gaze over your left shoulder. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Lengthening through the crown on your inhale and twisting a little deeper on each exhale. And slowly come back to center. Extend your left leg out long. Sit up nice and tall, grounding down through your sitting bones. Extend your arms overhead. Slowly lower your hands down to meet your feet or your shins or the mat. Bow over your legs. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Walk your hands up your legs, sit up nice and tall. Come over to hands and knees or tabletop. Fingers are spread out wide. Wrists are in line with your shoulders. Knees are in line with your hips. Take an inhale here. And on your exhale, walk your hands out in front of you. Lower your chin or your forehead to the mat. Come into puppy dog pose. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And make your way up to tabletop. Rooting down through your hands and your knees. Step your right foot behind you. Option to keep your right foot here or lift your right foot up to hip level. Option to stay here or extend your left arm out in front of you. Engage your core, find your balance. You can stay here or reach your left hand around and grab your right foot, kicking your right foot into your palm, stretching out through your back. Take 2 more slow, deep breaths wherever you are. And release, come back to tabletop. Step your left foot behind you. Option to stay here or lift that left foot up to hip level. Option to stay here or extend your right arm out in front of you. Engage your core. Find a focal point. You may stay here or reach your right hand around and grab for your left foot, kicking that left foot into your palm, stretching out through your thigh, your back, your shoulder. And release, come back to tabletop. And slowly come all the way up onto your knees. Extend your right foot out to the side. Slowly walk your right hand down your right thigh, bringing it to your right calf. Extend your left arm overhead, option to keep it here or bring it in line with your ear. If this does not suit you, you can always place your left hand on your hip. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Slowly lower your left hand back down to the mat. Bring it in line with your shoulder. You can stay here or you can lift your right leg up. Option to keep your right hand on your hip, extend your right arm overhead, or you can bend your right leg and reach your hand for your right foot. Take 3 slow, deep breaths here. Wherever you are, make your way back up to standing on your knees. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Bring your palms to touch. Gaze up over your thumbs. Take a mini back bend here. And bring your hands to heart center. Extend your left leg out to the side. Slowly start to walk your left hand down your leg, bringing it to your calf. Your right hand can stay at your hip or extend overhead. You can also bring it in line with your ear. Breathe into your right side body. Slowly lower your right hand down to the mat, bringing it right under your shoulder. Your left hand can come to your hip. You can keep that left foot on the mat. You can lift it up. You can extend your left arm overhead or reach around and grab for your left foot. Take a few slow, deep breaths wherever you are. And lower your left knee down. Come back up to standing on your knees. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Bring your palms to touch. Gaze up over your thumbs and take a mini back bend here. And lower your hands to heart center. And come back to tabletop. Place your right foot on the outside of your right hand. Slowly start to straighten your right leg. Bring your hips down and back. Bow forward. Breathe into the stretch in your right hamstring. And slowly bend into your right knee. Come forward. Feel the stretch in your left hip flexor. And slowly sink your hips back, straighten your right leg, bow forward. Keep your right leg straight. Plant your left hand on the mat. Bring your right hand to your hip. Roll your shoulder down your back. Your right hand can stay on your hip or extend overhead. Coming into a twist to the right side. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And lower your right hand down. Bend into your right knee. Place your right knee next to your left. Come back to tabletop. Step your left foot to the outside edge of your left pinky. Set up here and slowly straighten your left leg. Sink your hips back. Bow forward. Your toes on your left foot could come slightly off the mat or they can stay rooted down. Bend into your left knee, come forward, straighten out, stretch through your right hip flexor. And straighten your left knee, your left leg. Bring your hips down and back, bow forward. Plant your left or your right hand on the mat. Bring your left hand to your hip. Roll your shoulder down your back. Your left hand can stay on your hip or extend overhead, coming into a twist. And lower your left hand back down. Bend into your left knee. Place your left knee next to your right. Tuck your toes under. Bring your hips up and back. Come into down dog. You can pedal your feet here or stay in stillness. Just take a few moments to explore. Take deep breaths here. Lengthening through your arms on your inhale and sinking your heels down towards the mat on your exhale. Gaze up towards your hands. Step or hop to the top of your mat and bow forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your big toes to touch, little space between your heels, maybe a fist width. Sink your hips down and back. Extend your arms out in front of you. Bring them parallel to the mat or in line with your ears. Come into chair pose. Take a few slow, deep breaths here, pulling your belly in and up. Slowly lower your hands down by your sides, straighten your legs, come into mountain pose. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, bring your palms to touch, gaze over your thumbs, take a mini back bend, and bring your hands to heart center. Lower your hands down by your sides, come into mountain. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to plank. Engage your core, tighten your quads, lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes, squeeze your elbows and shoulder blades together. Lift your heart off the mat, come into cobra. Lower your heart back down to the mat. Tuck your toes under, push back to down dog. Take a cycle of breath here. Inhale, step your right foot between your palms, set up for low lunge. Ground down through the soles of your feet. Slowly rise up to high lunge. Extend your arms overhead. Shoulders melt away from your ears. Anchor your left heel down, spin your arms open, come into warrior two. Check in with your alignment. Make sure your right heel is in line with the arch of your left foot or your left heel. Make sure your shoulder blades are pulled together. Your chest is open. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Gaze up over your right fingertips. Bring your arms back up, come into warrior two. Slowly start to straighten your right leg. Hinge at your hips. Bring your right hand to your shin or the mat, come into triangle. Remember to pull that left shoulder down and back, opening through your heart. Keeping a micro bend in your right knee. Take 2 more slow, deep breaths here. Slowly start to bend into your right knee. Using the strength of your legs, slowly rise back up to warrior two. Slowly start to straighten your right leg. Turn your right toes towards the left. Bring your toes in towards each other. Heels point out towards the outside edges of your mat. Inhale, extend your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Place your hands on the mat. Fold. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Your elbows come out to the sides. Release your hands. Bring your hands to your hips. Keeping your spine nice and lengthened. Lower all or raise all the way back up. Turn your right toes to the top of your mat. Bend into your right knee. Bring your arms parallel to the mat. Come into warrior two. Windmill your hands back down to frame your front foot. Spin off your back heel. Keep your left hand on the mat. Bring your right hand to your hip. Roll your right shoulder back. Twist open to the side. Right shoulder can stay here on your hip, or your right arm can extend overhead. Take 2 slow, deep breaths here. Place your right hand back down on the mat. Step back to plank. You have the option to push back to a down dog, or you can take a vinyasa. So if you're going to take a vinyasa, go ahead and lower down. Come into cobra or up dog. Push back to down dog. Step your left foot between your palms. Set up for low lunge. Root down through your feet. Slowly rise up to high lunge. Arms extend overhead. Melt your shoulders away from your ears. Pull your belly in and up. Remember to breathe. Anchor your left heel down. Spin your arms open, bringing them parallel to the ground. Gaze over your left fingers. Settle in here in warrior two. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Slowly rise back up to warrior two. Straighten your left leg, hinge at your hips, place your left hand on your shin or the mat, come in to Trikonasana, triangle pose. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Bend into your left knee, using your feet and the strength of your legs. Rise up to warrior two. Turn your left toes towards the right side of your mat. Straighten your legs. Turn your toes out wide. Bring your heels in towards each other. Sink your hips down. Come into goddess pose. You can keep your hands at heart center or bring your arms out to cactus arms. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Lengthen through your crown. Pull your belly in and up. Stay with me for two more slow, deep breaths. Slowly start to straighten your legs. Bring your hands back to your hips. Turn your left toes towards the top of your mat. Bend into your left knee. Come in to warrior two. Windmill your hands back down to frame your front foot. Spin off your back heel. Keep your right hand down on the mat. Bring your left hand to your hip. Roll your left shoulder back. Hand can stay at your hip or extend overhead. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Lower your hand back down. Step back to plank. You can come right into down dog or feel free to take a vinyasa. So lower down, come into cobra or up dog, push back to down dog. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Lower your knees down to the mat. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Bring your right heel towards your right buttocks. Reach your right hand behind, grab for the outside edge of your right foot. You may stay here and you can have a sphinx arm on your left side, or you can reach your left hand around and grab for your left foot coming into bow. Kicking your feet into your hands, opening through your heart. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And release, come into crocodile. Stack your arms, let your head rest on your arms. Come into Sphinx pose. Bring your hands Your elbows down to the mat. Let your palms face down on the mat. Bring your left heel in towards your left buttocks. Reach your left hand around, grab for the outside of your left foot. You can stay here or grab that right foot and come into full bow again. Take a few slow, deep breaths wherever you are. And release, come back to crocodile. Stack your arms, let your head rest on your hands. Plant your palms under your shoulders, tuck your toes under, push back to down dog. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Gaze up at your fingers, step or float to the top of your mat, and bow forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Root down through your left foot. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. Take your right hand, reach your right hand around, grab for the inside edge of your right foot. You can stay right here, or you can extend your left arm overhead, hinge at your hips, kick out through your right foot, come into dancer. Take a few slow, deep breaths wherever you are. And slowly rise back up. Place your right foot on the mat. Let your hands come down by your sides. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Root down through your right foot. Lift your left knee in towards your chest. Take your left hand, reach around for the inside edge of your left foot. Your right hand can stay here or extend overhead, or you can also drop it down by your side. Option to stay here or hinge forward, kick that left foot into your hand, come into dancer's pose. Take a few slow, deep breaths. And slowly rise back up. Place your left foot on the mat. Lower your hands. Inhale, extend your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to down dog. Take a few slow, deep breaths here in down dog. Reach your right leg high in the air. Bring your right knee to your right wrist. Inch your left foot back towards the back of your mat. Set yourself up for pigeon. Sit up nice and tall. Grow tall through your crown. Keeping the length, lower all the way down to the mat. You can stack your arms. Let your head rest on your hands. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Stay with me for 3 more cycles of breath. Slowly start to rise up. Plant your palms down. Tuck your left toes under. Step back to down dog. Go ahead and wiggle your hips out. Extend your right leg high in the air. Bring your right heel to your left buttocks, opening your right hip. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Straighten your right leg. Place your right foot down on the mat. Coming back to down dog. Extend your left leg high in the air. Bring your left knee to your left wrist. Set yourself up for pigeon. Walk your right foot back. Untuck your toes. Gaze over your right shoulder. Check in with that right foot. Make sure it's not sickling in. Grow tall through your crown. And keeping the length, lower all the way down, stacking your arms. Let your head rest on your arms. Soften in here. Invite your breath to soften any resistance. Stay with me here for 3 more slow, deep breaths. Start to rise back up. Plant your palms. Tuck your right toes under. Step back to down dog. Go ahead and wiggle out your hips. Extend your left leg high in the air. Bring your left heel to your right glute. Opening your left hip. Straighten your left leg. Bring your left foot down to the mat. Take a few slow, deep breaths here in down dog. Lower your knees down to the mat. Bring your knees out wide, big toes to touch. Sink your hips down and back. Come into child's pose. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Come back up to tabletop. Cross your shins. Roll over onto your sit bones. Place your feet on the mat. Engage your core. Either place your hands on your hamstrings or your arms straight out in front of you. We're going to lower all the way down on a count of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let your hands rest at your sides. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Inhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Maybe rock side to side if that feels good. Extend both feet up towards the sky. You have the option to stay here and legs up the wall for your inversion, or you may take any inversion you would like. You may also like to take plow pose, which would really counteract all of the back bends we did. So if you'd like to take plow, go ahead and do so now, or you can stay here and legs up the wall. Wherever you are, stay here for 5 slow, deep breaths. Slowly hug your knees in toward your chest. Keep your right knee in towards your chest. Let your left leg go long. Hug your right knee in. Keep your left hand on the outside edge of your right knee. Anchor your right arm out to the side. Let your right knee drop over towards the left side. Gaze over. Your right fingertips come into supine twist. Take a few slow, deep breaths. And come back to center. Let your left leg or your right leg out long. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Keep your right hand on the outside edge of your left knee. Your left arm stretches out to the side. Let your left knee lower towards the right side. Come into supine twist. Gaze over your left fingertips. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And come back to center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Maybe rock side to side if that feels good. Maybe reach around, grab for the outside edges of your hamstrings or your feet and come into happy baby. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Hug your knees into your chest and make your way into Shavasana. Let your feet flop open to the sides. Flip your palms up towards the sky. Close your eyes. Let everything go. Melt into the mat. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Invite movement into your body. Moving in whatever way you would like, whether that's coming into a morning stretch, hugging your knees into your chest, or simply rolling onto your right side. Wherever you are, take one more slow, deep breath. And make your way up to a seated position. Close your eyes and bring your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for showing up, for taking time to practice, to tune in to your breath. The light in me sees and honors the light in each one of you. Namaste.